Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today's project, we're going to be installing a fireplace in this location over here. Now, as you can see, we put the paper on the wall to determine what height we wanted to mount the fireplace in. The fireplace here is going to go from floor to ceiling. And just so you know, this fireplace is not a heat source for the house. This is pretty much just for the look. It produces a little bit of heat, but really not that much. And the reason for that is, one, you don't have to vent it outside. You don't have to vent it through the chimney or anything. It's just for pretty much the look of a real fireplace. One thing I want to point out to you is that this here, you can see in here, there's an electrical outlet inside the wall here. You cannot bury an electrical outlet inside of a fireplace or any other thing. You can't bury it in the wall. It has to be accessible. So this, we are going to have a licensed electrician come out and take care of this, so we have everything done according to the codes in this state. And that's what you want to do when you do a fireplace like this, is check with your local codes to find out what your restrictions would be. The fireplace is going to be boxed out. It's going to be built out into this location here. We ordered the fireplace itself, and we have the dimensions of the opening that we need to put the fireplace in. So we're going to make our rough opening in anticipation of getting the insert and putting it inside. All right, we are going to mount it up against the wall, so we are going to take off the trim down on the bottom right here, so that way it's flush against the wall when we install it. And as I said, it's going to go all the way up to the ceiling in the room itself. Okay, just to clarify about the fireplace, the insert itself will be like this. This is the viewing area of it. The rest of this up to the ceiling is just going to be drywall, so that way this is where the fireplace will be, and the drywall will go all the way up to the ceiling, so it'll actually be encased in the unit that's going to be built here. Okay, another thing I want to point out to you too is that the fireplace itself, you can actually have it any place you want to. If you wanted it low to the floor, you could bring it down lower. You wanted it higher, you could make it higher. This is just what we chose the height of this unit to be, but it's personal preference what you choose. All right, the next thing I want to point out to you too is that, as you can tell by my voice, the echo we have going on in here, we did empty out the entire room, and we covered up all of the openings with plastic, so that way any of the cutting from the cutting of the wood or the drywall is not going to get into the rest of the house. So we sealed off everything really well with some tape and some plastic. All right, so enough talking. Let's get our stuff, get our tools together, and then we'll get started on this. And hopefully by the end of the day, we'll have a fireplace. So you know, the fireplace is going to go in here. The fireplace is going to be flush with the wall that we're going to be installing up to the top here. But just so you know, it's a 10-inch depth from the existing wall to where the other part of the fireplace is going to come to an end. So it's about 10 inches that is going to project out into the room itself. And of course, before you get started, you want to definitely lay down some kind of a protection over the work area so you don't damage your hardwood floors or carpeting or whatever you have in there. So you want to be careful with that. Now, we had the electrician come in and he's relocating that outlet. He's pulled a hole in the wall here so we can gain access to the wiring. And then he's going to pull it down and put the outlet on the side. All right, here we have the framing. We built this outside to minimize the amount of mess in the house. We measured the depth as it calls for in the directions, and we have our 2x4s all screwed together and ready to go up. All right, we marked out on the wall where it's going to go, and now let's put it in place. We're going to, I want to tell you this too. We did cut the molding with an oscillating saw, so we have a nice clean cut. All right, so we put our pieces up on the side, and we now screwed them into the wall and also up into the ceiling and the floor. Okay, next we attached the other end panel, and we did the same exact thing. We screwed it up to the ceiling, to the walls, and to the floor, so that it's nice and steady. The electrician did have to cut some holes in the drywall to gain access to the wiring, which was inaccessible from the attic. That's why you see the additional holes there, and that gave him enough room to pull the wires so we can put that outlet on the outside of the fireplace, thereby eliminating that outlet that was inside the fireplace area itself. Next, we're going to patch these holes up, and then we can put the outlet on the outside of the fireplace, and then we'll continue with the building of the box itself to accommodate the new fireplace. And here you can see we have plenty of room on the wiring to gain access to to the new outlet we're going to put up there. And these holes are actually just to remove the staples that held the wires to the studs in the wall, so that we can actually have that little bit of pull, so we can pull the wires and get them out of the outlet itself and have enough room to install the outlet safely. And of course, now that we have the outlet on the outside, the box that's on the inside of the fireplace, that's going to be removed and discarded. And that outlet is no longer buried in the wall. It's going to be accessible outside the fireplace. Thereby, it's according to the electrical codes for this municipality. All right, so let's pull this all apart. We'll start to close up the drywall. We'll get that outlet in place, and then we'll continue with the rest of the framing. Now here you see we could put the framing down on the bottom. We measured it again to the height that we chose. Remember, we chose to be 20 inches off the ground, but that can be done whatever you choose to put at whatever height. Now you can see we closed up all of the holes that we made in the walls. And that's it. Now we have the outlet in and we're ready to continue. We're going to go outside and we're going to cut a shelf to actually put on top of that 20-inch piece of 2x4s that you see there. There's going to be a shelf that the fireplace itself is going to sit on top of, and thereby it'll be nice and sturdy, and it'll be level with the rest of the room itself. All right, we are going to cut a piece of 2x4 to put in there on the upper part. You see that? But for now, we're going to go outside, and we're going to cut that shelf, and we'll put it in. Okay, before we go outside, I want to point this out to you. The electrician drilled a hole and brought the wiring around to connect up to the fireplace once it's laid in place. We'll come back to that once we get the fireplace into this location. But you can see that they put that putty on there or sealed off where the wiring came through the studs themselves. All right, now we cut our shelf, and the shelf is just basically a piece of plywood that's cut down to the size of the opening that we chose, and that'll sit right on top of it and ready for the fireplace to come in and sit on top of it. So let's grab the fireplace and put it in that spot. Now here's the insert. You can see we installed it. We put it into the opening that we measured before so that it fit in there pretty tightly. The wiring now, the electrician has connected it up to the side over here. Is basically a very simple connection. We have our metal connector on the end of the wire, which connects into the fireplace, and then you have your white, your black, and a green ground, of course. All right. Next, we put our 2x4s in place over the top of the fireplace itself, and then we put the studs facing up. Now that middle stud, we turned it that way for a reason, and that'll be to accommodate a picture or something that's going to be hung there. You could turn it the other direction, but we chose to put it this way here. You could do the stud, the other direction as well, the thinner side, but that's just what we chose. All right, so now that everything is nailed in and screwed in place, we're going to finish off attaching the fireplace. There's brackets that come with the fireplace to attach it to the opening that we cut right up in here. That's where the attachments go to hold the fireplace to the frame that we just built. All right, so let's do that. Let's connect it up to those locations, and we'll permanently mount this in the wall itself. And here are the brackets that we installed. You can see they just clip in place, and there's 2 screws to secure it to the studs, just like that. Now we put our material inside of it on the new unit itself. They give you plenty of different size stones depending on your personal preference, what you choose to put in there. This just happens to be the ones that we chose to go in there. And we laid the logs according to the diagram that the manufacturer gave us. I guess they probably decided which would be the best looking place for it, and we did it according to their recommendations. Now, of course, when we built this, everything was plumb level and square, so that we had no problem putting it all back together. That's why you saw on the side our levels. And now this is all extra stuff now that we're not going to use, but as I said, it's personal preference. It comes with different size stones and different color stones, depending on your personal preference. All right, next thing we got to do is now we have to wait for the electrical inspector and the framing instructor inspector to stop by. All right, and there you go. We got our approvals and everything is ready to go. The next thing we can do now is we can come in here and we can close up the drywall and get it ready for the taping and spackling. Now I want to point this out to you too. Most of the time with these units, they give you a schematic of what the opening is supposed to look like, and it gives you all the dimensions. You can look where it says A, B, and C, and then you look down on the bottom according to the unit you have, and it tells you what all of those dimensions should be. And you can see the depth is actually 10 and 7/16 inches, right? And the width is 45 something. All right, so that's what it looks like. Next thing, let's make a run to the big box store. Let's pick up some drywall, and we'll come in here and we'll start installing the drywall. Okay, so I just want to give you an update. This is actually as far as we can go right now. We need to have the building inspector come and take a look at it to make sure that it passes inspection. And we also have to have an electrical inspection because, as you remember, we took that light switch, that light receptacle that was there, it was actually over here, and we moved it over there. And whenever you move an electrical outlet, you need to have an inspection for it. So we have to have that inspected, and he's going to inspect also to make sure that it's hardwired correctly right over here. All right, so once we get our inspection, then we'll come back, we'll put the drywall up, and we'll finish this off. Very messy. You don't want to do it inside your house. We took it in the front yard or lay it out on some sawhorses so that way you can make your measurements and do your cutting outside without making a mess in your house. All right, so let's cut it to the dimensions. We're going to do the side pieces first, the ones that like 10 and 3/4 inches or something like that. We're going to put those in first, and then we'll do the front of it a little the next step. All right, so let's cut it. Let's get inside and attach them. So here you see we have them attached. There's different ways you can do it. You can screw it on with screws, or you can use the traditional nails that go in there. I chose to use nails just because it was a little bit, it holds a little bit better in my opinion, but it's just my opinion. Now I will point this out to you, the corner beads are going to be metal corner beads. I'm not going to use the plastic stuff that you buy in some of these big box stores. I like the metal corner beads, so that's the one we're going to use. All right, let's go outside and let's cut that face out now, and we'll get those pieces in on the front of the fireplace and start to close it all up. As I said, doing the cutting outside is always the best thing. So we're going to measure all of our measurements inside. We're going to take our time, and we're going to make sure that we cut it, perfectly perfect around the fireplace itself. Now you can see we used the cutoff tool to do that, because the cutoff tool, you can measure the dimensions where the viewing area is going to be, and by measuring the viewing area, we can go to the drywall outside, put those dimensions on the drywall, and to cut them I used a oscillating saw because, as I said, it's an internal cut and it's very, very close. The lip on the fireplace is only about probably 1/4 inch, so it's got to be fairly exact when you're making those cuts. Now, as I said, we're going to use the tape to tape everything off. I chose to use the old style paper tape versus the new mesh type stuff that is sticky and it goes on there. I like the paper because you can get a nice straight inside corner when you put it on there. All right, we took the faceplate off now, and now let's get that drywall and put the rest of the drywall on. And here you can see we put the drywall, we did the lower piece first because that's the most difficult one to cut. We made the dimension around the face of it. We took the template that they supplied, the outside glass piece, and that's the mark that we used to make that cut, so it's a nice tight fit around it. Next, we started to take the corner beads. We nailed the corner beads on. We then filled in all of the holes with our spackling mud, and as you can see here, it's nice with the metal because you get a nice straight bead on there. And of course, we taped everything with our first coat of spackle, and now we have to wait for it to dry. And once it dries, we'll come in there, we'll do a scraping with the spackling tools. We're not going to sand it yet because, as you know, sanding is the biggest mess when you do a job like this. So what we're going to do is take our spackling knives and we're going to run over the area and knock off any of the little protruding pieces of drywall spackle that will interfere with the next coat that we're going to put on. So once this dries tomorrow, we'll come in here, scrape it, and we'll get ready to put our second coat. And of course, depending on the temperature and the humidity, that will either increase or decrease the drying time for your personal project. Now here we're not going to do anything until tomorrow so we can have it thoroughly dry overnight. Okay, so as you can see, we put our drywall up. We put our corner beads on, of course. We always use the metal corner beads versus the plastic stuff that some of these big box stores have. So we use the metal corner beads all the way up, of course, to the ceiling and then down to the floor here. And what we're going to do on the wall here, we are going to actually put some spackle on here. Once this dries, we'll spackle it with our second coat, and it'll be like it never even, nothing was ever done there before. I chose to use the old style tape versus the new style mesh that they have, just because on the corners you can get a nice straight corner with the paper. All right, you can see up on the top right up here, we are done up there as well. So a couple days, we'll let it dry, and once it dries thoroughly, we'll come back in here, we'll sand it, we'll put our second coat on, and we'll get this job finished up and enjoy our new fireplace. Don't forget, if you like this video, subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.